Proclaim 2025. Hey! Wow. Why don't you help me turn to your neighbor and welcome them? Tell them, neighbor, you made it to day 3. I know that you have been blessed with these 2 days or 3 days here. Please go ahead and have your seats. Woo. My name is Hope Tash, Pastor Hope Tash. And I'm privileged to be a Catalyst pastor at Worship Harvest Makerere. I also have the honor and the privilege of leading the Catalyst movement in Worship Harvest. So I send all the greetings to the Catalysts in the house. Oh, are you excited? I recognize all the men of God inside this place. It's such an honor to be here and stand in front of all of you. What a blessing. I also want to recognize Apostle in his absence. Thank you for giving us an endless opportunity to serve God. Thank you for loving the Catalysts. Can you imagine? He dedicated his book to us. What a blessing. And even want to celebrate my pastor. Because he's the vision bearer of Catalyst. Catalyst would not be here if it wasn't for Papa Blesso. Yeah, the whole Catalyst movement is here because of his vision. He has taught us, he has envisioned us, he has enforced it on us. So we thank God for you, Papa Blesso. All right, I have a very short task. I was taught to share a story of Catalyst, especially Catalyst Makerere. And as I share the story, I know that you're going to pick 1 or 2 things that can help you if you're next to a university on how you can reach more university students in your location or in your area. Amen. So in 2023, I used to be a regular attendant of Catalyst. Okay, 2020 to 2023. And you know, Catalyst was the best plot of the week. Every Thursday we knew we had our plot. On Thursday. Okay, Thursday. So it was our plot of the week. We knew every Thursday where we had to be. It was Worship Harvest Makerere. And we would gather really 20, 30, 40 students, give or take. That would gather and just have fun. I remember I would come, back then it used to be Pastor Price Love who used to lead Catalyst. So we'd gather, just dance, have a lot of fun, then she would come and teach maybe in 10 minutes or 20 minutes, make an altar call, and then after that we'd have a serious donkey. It was like a real dance floor. So that's how Catalyst used to really be. But surprisingly, in the midst of all the fun that we used to have, God was moving and working miracles. People would just come up and say, I attended Catalyst and addiction stopped. I attended Catalyst and I stopped going to the bar. I attended Catalyst and their testimonies flowing. And you would wonder, where exactly in the Catalyst fellowship were the miracles happening? So that's how we used to be really. We weren't even so much focused outwardly on, invite others, what. We knew it was our plot. The ones who are inside the church, it's our plot. That's our thing. And then one day, Papa Blesso reaches out to me and tells me, I want us to try out something new. I have a great idea. I would like us to try out. I'm like, tell us. Let's try out a thing called Freshers Week, where instead of us just focusing the efforts on the people who are inside the church, let's get out and reach out to the university students who are coming on campus in that year for a week and let them know that there is a space they can join. There is a church family ready to welcome them. That their first friends should not be the people taking them to the bars or the clubs. Their first friends can be us, the faith family. And so it was a stretch because we had been inward. And we're wondering, how are we going to do this? But immediately, we picked on the vision. I called a group of friends of mine, the Gangos. We used to call ourselves Gangos. Treasure, Jean, Resty, and I've forgotten the others. Forgive me. But we're like 6. So we started planning for the Freshers Week. How are we going to reach the university students joining campus that year? Now, we had done statistics, and in Macquarie, the university where I come from, it has a population of around 38,000 to 42,000 students. And every year, we have 13,000 freshers at least enrolled into the university. So that's a whole new group of people. But those people would join campus and no one is reaching them. So that week, 2 months or 1 month before we started planning for the freshers week, we sat down, found out which halls or hostels are we going to reach out to, which custodians do we need to seek permission from, which halls or hostels do we have MC shepherds, because those ones would give us better access to plant the students in. And we started to plan, raising resources, coming up with a budget of Freshers Week. I remember the budget we wrote down at first, I think it was like 15 million. And so we took it to our pastor, he's like, raise the resources. Where do you think that 15 million is going to come from? But we raised the resources, of course not 15 million. Our budget had to go down up to 1 ma, I think. So it was a stretch for us. And when we did the Freshers Week, from a group of people who used to just meet for fun, really are not minding about what's happening on the outside and the other students. From doing that Freshers Week, in that week in 2023, we reached out to 699 freshers. And in that same week, of those freshers that we reached out to, 10 of them opened up their spaces to say, let's start missional communities. And remember, these are people who don't know about Worship Harvest, really. But they said yes because we reached out to them and helped them enroll into campus and helped them to find family. Helped them and showed them that, guys, you don't have to go through campus feeling like, you're just walking through it. We are here to guide, we are here to help you. And so because of that outreach, they opened up their spaces and said, let's start this thing. That was 2023. In 2024, the same thing. We did the Freshers Week again in 2024. And that week, we reached out to 923 freshers. And 14 freshers MCs were started. And so this thing was now extended to the movement level as well. And that across the movement, reached out to at least 2,000 freshers and had 23 freshers MCs started. What am I saying? That I know we are here to learn about how the church must grow. But one of the tools that can help you catalyze the growth of your church is reaching. Catalyze, come on now. Is reaching and looking out and seeking for the young ones. Seeking out the university students. Because truly we were next to the university where the harvest is truly plentiful. But our Catalyst attendance would range around 50 to 60, and we're okay with that. But the moment we stepped out and said, no, let's go out and reach out to the first years who are coming. Let's go out and tell them about the gospel. Let's go out and tell them that there is a church family they can belong to. They immediately opened up their spaces without even cajoling. What? Like, okay, we want to be a part of this thing. We want to be a part of this vision. And they started to become members and being planted of the church. Mercy, my minutes and time. I'm going to share with you what some of the... I wish I had time. Mercy, Lord. In Zechariah chapter 11, verse 15 to 16. It's coming up shortly. Zechariah 11, verse 15 to 16 in the KJV version. Are you ready to read some KJV English? Zechariah 11, verse 15 to 16. All right, 1, 2, 3, let's read it together. And the Lord said unto thee, take unto thee the instruments of a foolish shepherd. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that shall be cut off, neither shall seek the young one. Nor heel that is broken, nor field that standeth still, but you shall eat the flesh of the fat and tear their clothes in the pieces. The thing that I want to focus on there is neither shall seek the young one. A shepherd who does not seek the young people, what does the Bible call them? Yeah, but your neighbor is not a foolish shepherd, not at all. So I'm going to share with us some of the effects that happened as a result of us going out to seek the young people. One, and as I share them, I want you to see what can happen when you decide to get out, when you decide to step out of the comfort zone, when you decide to also go and start reaching out to the students on your university. One, there was an increase in church growth. There was an increase in MCs. There was an increase in attendance. I have shared with you the statistics. From reaching out to 699, 10 of them said, let's start missional communities. From reaching out to 900 of them, 14 of them said, let us start missional communities. So there was an increase in the location growth. The second thing that happened was that there was increase in visibility on campus. Catalyze stopped being the midweek plot for the insiders. Yeah. Because we stepped out, because in the Freshers Week we had to print t-shirts that had Catalyst on them. So as you're going out and reaching out to the people, they're asking, okay, who are you? Where are you from? Our church was there. Everyone knew that church was there, but many of them didn't know that there was a fellowship called Catalyst in existence. So when we stepped out, one, the visibility of the fellowship grew, but also the visibility of the church grew. The third thing that happened, that there's increase in desire to seek God. Because suddenly when you're told you're going for a mission, realize you're not going to do it in your own strength. You need God. So we had to come up every Mondays in the evenings from 5 to 8 p.m. just praying, 3 hours of prayer. We had to fast and ask God to lead us to the people that would intentionally want us to lead, who intentionally wants us to reach out to. And we have seen, out of those outreaches, we have seen that God has actually guided us and led us to students who really needed to be reached out to. One of the gentlemen that reached out to in that week, I don't know if it was that week or Freshers Week or Tasaj. Okay. One of those outreaches. We reached out to him and he was on the verge of ending his life. The day before, he had been in the bar. He had drunk himself out. And so that day we reached out, Resty and Jean reached out to his door. He allows them to enter in, and then they share the gospel with him and tell him, no, with all these things that you're going through, you don't have to end your life. You don't have to keep drinking. You don't have to keep smoking. And they prayed with him. In that immediate time, he gave his life to Jesus, and right now he's a mover and shaker, real planted in the church. Why? Because of that outreach that we did. And then lastly, there was an increase in our leadership capacity. Not only the church grew, but our leadership capacity as the team, as the people in the church grew. Because now we were going for missions where you are leading, where you have to reach out to 1,000. You have a vision of reaching to 1,000 freshers. Suddenly something has got to change. To raise resources, you had to talk to custodians and staff on campus. Please give us access. What? So our leadership capacity on the team grew. And as a result of that, when we saw the effect of the Freshers Week, we decided that, you know what? Instead of us waiting for just one year, instead of us waiting to do an outreach a year, why don't we start doing a thing weekly? That's how we came up with a thing called Tasaj. Tell a student about Jesus. Every Tuesday. So every Tuesday we gather as students. The Tuesdays where we don't have trainings or what, we gather students and we go on campus and go knocking door to door, telling every student about Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by saying a church that serves out shall grow in. When you saw your presence in the community, you will reap their presence in your church. God bless you.